Morning, everybody. All right, so I'm going to go over the 9.1 that we did through Go Math, and these are perimeter and area problems. And the main focus is really practicing using the formulas. And so you will have available to you this reference material sheet, and on it there are formulas for perimeter. So you see here in black you've got perimeter, and then if you are talking about a square, you would use the perimeter equals 4 times s, or 4 times side. Rectangle for perimeter, perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width, and you add those together. And then if you're doing area, same thing, you've got for a square and a rectangle. So these formulas you can use as you're solving these. And so on this first page, it says a formula is an equation that expresses a mathematical rule. You can use formulas to find perimeter and area of rectangles. So it says Lloyd is planting a rectangular garden that measures 40 feet by 24 feet. So anytime that you're not given the shape, go ahead over here and draw it out. And then when you start getting, let me move this up. When you start getting the dimensions of how many feet or how many inches it is, or whatever it might be measured in, then go ahead and start adding that to your shape. So here I put the 40 feet, and I know if this side is 40, then the opposite's 40. And if over here on the left is 24, then the right is 24. And so go ahead and label that. And then you're going to use your formula. So you start plugging in. So your goal is to get down to just one of these letters. So notice how you have a P, an L, and a W. You've got 3 different letters. Well, right now, when you just start with a formula, those letters are unknown. We don't know what they are. We're trying to figure out what the perimeter is. So we want to start replacing the letters with things that we know. So we know that the length is 40 and the width is 24. So we're going to start replacing the letters with numbers, and then now we can add those together and get our perimeter. So the perimeter is 128 feet. So he is doing 128 feet of fencing, because that's what perimeter is. It's that, think about like a fence going all the way around his garden. All right, then down here, now we're finding the area. So he's going to put mulch down, and that's going to cover all of this inside part. So now we're talking about area. So again, we're going to make sure we have the right formula. We're going to plug in what we know. We don't know the area. That's what we're searching for, but we do know the length and we do know the width. So we plug those in, multiply them, and get our 960 square feet. Down here on the bottom, it says you can also use the formula P equals 2L plus 2W to find the perimeter. And so it says, what is the perimeter of a rectangle that is 12 feet long and 16 feet wide? So here, what they've done is, the reason why you can use this formula instead of this one right here is all they've done is they've combined the 2L's. So see how there's 2 of them and 2 W's, 2 lengths, 2 widths? All they've done is combine them. So here, you're doing 2 times 12, 2 times 16, which equals 56. All right, on the next page, this is an example of a composite figure. And a composite figure is where you have a shape and you can find multiple shapes within the one shape. So, for example, if I draw a little dotted line going straight down, I've separated this into a rectangle and a square. And so when you do this, you need to find, like here, we're going to find the area. And so you want to break them apart, because that area is that whole inside. So we break it to two different shapes. And so I called this one shape A, the rectangle, and this one shape B, the square. So first we're going to go find just the rectangle. So we're going to completely ignore this side over here, and we're going to look at the length and the width, and you can fill in your unknown sides. And we see that length is 5 and then 4, so we multiply those together to get 20. And then we're going to go over and do over here for B. So now we're going to ignore A, and I see that it's 3 times 3, which is 9. And then to get the whole composite figure, we're going to add them together. So 20 plus 9 is 29. And I was showing over here that a lot of times when you're given this in a multiple choice format, they'll have like the first, part of it will be an answer choice and then another part. And then like here, they go and put an answer choice as perimeter. So make sure you don't confuse the two. All right, down here on the bottom, it says find the perimeter. So you've got 14, 14, 14, and 14. When you add up all of those 14s, you get 56. You could also, since this is repeated addition, you could also multiply those. Over here, it says find the area. So area equals length times width. Multiply those together and we get 300. All right, on this back page, it says Tina is fixing a rectangular sign. So again, it didn't give us that shape. So we're going to come over here and we're going to make our rectangle. And it says she plans to place a metal trim. So trim is something that's going around the sign edges. And so in this case, and so notice here, it doesn't say anything about perimeter. You just need to know that if you're going around something, that you're talking about perimeter. And then it gives us the measurements, 32 inches by 9. So we go ahead, as soon as we get that, go ahead and plug that, write that into your shape information here. And then since we're finding perimeter to see how much trim she needs, we're going to go ahead and use the formula. So write down the formula. Then you're trying to get rid of letters. So we know the length, so we don't need the L anymore. We can replace it with 32. And we don't need W anymore because we know the width. We can replace it with 9. And so then we do 2 times 32, 2 times 9, add those together, and we get 82. Down here it says a rectangle has a length of 5 meters and a width of 4. Again, it didn't give it to us, so draw it and then label. Which equation can you use to find the perimeter? So perimeter, where we're adding up all of the sides. And so that was this one here. And then notice they stuck in what you would do for area. So be on the lookout. Make sure you're looking, you know, or not making that mistake. A lot of students switch up the two. And so make sure you're being very cautious of, okay, I'm specifically talking about perimeter here. So I need to add up all my sides. All right, multi-step. Lena had an L-shaped figure, so we drew it. Her mom cut it into 2 rectangles, so we did that here. One rectangle measured 4 by 9, we added that. And the other measured 4 by 3, so we added that. What's the total area of the 2 rectangles? So again, make sure you know we're dealing with area. So we did length times width, which on this first shape, we labeled it A. So shape A is 36, shape B, 3 times 4 is 12, so we labeled that. We added those 2 together to get the total inside area, and we got 48. On the bottom here, Mai wants to tile the floor of her kitchen. Each tile has an area of 1 square foot. The floor of her kitchen is 11 feet by 16. So here you have your 11 and 16. Again, we had to draw it. And then how many tiles does she need? So here, it didn't say it was rectangular. I just knew because if it was a square, then these numbers would be the same. So since it was 11 by 16, I knew that that was rectangular. I'm it says here, it just says how many tiles does she need. So if you're laying down tile, that's going to be covering the inside part. And so I know that I'm going to need the formula for area. So I wrote that down. I plugged in, I replaced the letters with the information I knew, multiplied that, and got 176. Then on the back, on 9.1, the homework and practice papers, students were to do, let me see, does this work? 1, 2, 5, 6, and then on the back, 9, 11, and 12. And so these are pages 353 and 354. And so you can bring those in. Again, you can get to your 9.1 if you go to Launchpad and go to your Go Math and or Think Central, and it's under the lesson. So 9.1, it's formulas for area and perimeter. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.